In the first place, Lee Casley and Casana mentioned who is on the manager to take England to the promised land.
There be only also always go back to another 21
level. Fancy, wouldn't the Americans ask him? Mexico we need game against Greece and conquer him no. A game no Lucitia Greece no. And the mass answer simply pay free the no buy or him just to put himself away from the pressure. What am I say? In the history of the English national team, they've always anticipated say Obi oye English ba no be fair dwuma no na odi omukọ tournament a omuji tumi ese nipa kro no ebe bo omu amomatimi agi bibi de esi omu na so because they say no obi a country obekọ ba bibia no odi ne krom nipa na eye. But yansha in recent tournament, major tournament where England feels that they have an opportunity to win. In this instance, o check ready now her World Cup day bana fancy in the last few years World Cup ayabo 2006 Italy na World Cup. Omu coach no a foreigner na say no for Italy. What am I say? You come to 2010. 2010 World Cup. It is 2006 2010 World Cup South Africa. South Africa Spain e beje meboa. Spain e no mu coach ni fi.
Well local.
Near 2014, Germany jina coach ni free.
Yeah, local.
2018, France na hwan
local.
2022 na hwan
local.
Then obeko 2002 and yenya Brazil oje World Cup Portuguese. Ene di omoje meboa. Luis Felipe Scolari. Ni about the Euros. O check the Euros ni din ya. Euros na san ya babebo in 2004. Greece babeje no. Greece at the foreigner na the Euros. 2008 Spain di omo hu nipa. 2012 Spain di omo hu nipa. Euro 2016 the obeji bia so you look at the trend that has gone on in terms of the history of Euros and even the World Cup. Normally, the answer na beti magic tournament this year now. So you saw do club nipa na yede. The closest England has come ever to the title of winning the World Cup or even the Euros has always come from nipa baako Gary Southgate offering England. Inti when there is an argument about the English national team and who should become their next manager, na omo kronim e insiste. Ehwe ni mu say yemfama obi ofiri kronim a mindi omo chinie. But on the face of the pink sheet, and I say, yeah, dim common the normal to send ye near way reality now. Reality nature say. Reality nature say England has failed to produce top coaches in recent times.
Yeah.
So even if say, oh, probably the free side among the PA aba. Why am I rest assured say foundation na ye lay na would to say Gary Southgate enya de no. Nipa kro ni betimi ato aso the results na brew. I've always said say their project na omo ye etoto nyoma ni ene nyoma gu onum e making sure so many players be enra me will say nwa Sadiq Adams posti England under 15 omo la na bi so won say na ko pa ma wo
na madueke
wo Jamal Musiala mu nyina ene emu mienu bo the England national team na omo mo
yeah
yanko ya the under 17 ene emu dodo say ne bo the main England national team no dodo na ebo but what they have failed or what the project has failed to give them is coaches which they are struggling. And then Italy pe coach a omre. Sene Spain pe coach a onya dey. Omre. And then Germany obi sa obi wo bench because they say ano ohwe De La Fuente no wo Spain na. Sene De La Fuente decide say on coach bi ma on the bench no Luis Enrique wo ho meboa. Pep Guardiola ka say on coach City bi wo say come back to Spain team na ko coach a onya good coach. It is respect for main team. Let's say how bench in terms of even coaches. Now with Italy, if today Luciano Spalletti tells us say Jumano on team in Bioma, Simone is agini o. Thiago Motta team in Jumano. Omo bench wo hono mo sa wo coaches wo hono Antonio Conte kura besa prevent obesa nyanadwen kura so besa ba. Claudio Ranieri wo ja adwuma. It is your main line up na her bench. Oba kura na sa behwe other nations be to aso bobo na na Argentina kra no mu decide say omo ma Scaloni coach team ni biem Diego Simeone onya adwuma na. Omo ma Scaloni coach team ni biem. Diego Simeone onya adwuma na. Omo ma Scaloni coach team ni biem. Diego Simeone onya adwuma na. Omo ma Scaloni coach team ni biem. Diego Simeone onya adwuma na. Omo ma Scaloni coach team ni biem. Diego Simeone onya adwuma na. Omo ma Scaloni coach team ni biem. Diego Simeone onya adwuma na. Omo ma Scaloni coach team ni biem. Diego Simeone onya adwuma na. Omo ma Scaloni coach team ni biem. Diego Simeone onya adwuma na. Omo ma Scaloni coach team ni biem. Diego Simeone onya adwuma na. Omo ma Scaloni coach team ni biem. Diego Simeone onya adwuma na. Omo ma Scaloni coach team ni biem. Diego Simeone onya adwuma na. Omo ma Scaloni coach team ni biem. Diego Simeone onya adwuma na. Omo ma Scaloni coach team ni biem. Diego Simeone onya ad Diego Simeone ntimi nya Argentina national team adwuma no hwe bench no ubetimi akasa all of these things about some of these nations where you tip them someone you tip up Germany Jurgen Klopp to bench okosan contract or Red Bull or the asemu say our clause one mebetimi breaki se ka so ngo coach the German national team Hansi Flick ni wo iti hwe obi an ne bench na hwe England amusu no claim say we are say buy ball no na de buy and I just say why Frank Lampard the Paul Scholes ana and I'm the remember Steven Gerrard John Terry wo ho ana mo de adwuma de be ma no and I encopa we uru ni tro ne fa adwuma ne ma no that is the place the English national team
mo abobo mo de ni mo nya ade
themselves oh ombetimi aye adwuma no
mo nya ade
we ru ni ntimi nya England national team adwuma
ru ni bay
we ru ni o coach Derby County ba apply mo
no say no si fair the coach
national team adwuma de say nya adwuma bi e bia wo
the national team be relegation Rooney
na Lampard
so
this tells you the quality that so when you hear the news you say
some passports
they are ready and they are making sure say at least omubenya Thomas Tuchel amana be ye adwuma de amomo na no me better make say be omo project no ma ye dru no they need the last time yenya so obi push as a foreigner that was Steve Goran Eriksson the Don Fabio Capello ma be ye omo adwuma de ko but share adwuma Garissa get so be na you need someone to take them to the next level and someone who knows the quality and say in the England national team now and there's a lot of diversity sort as here most of the players know a move away from maybe typically the English Premier League to other leagues they are core part of the team no enya me wan say bedroom maybe kra na do na ball outside the country because already there is Jude Bellingham there is Conor Gallagher what am I say first it was very difficult to have an English international who plays outside the league amount for value is but this time around, they keep even including their captain now. Because some more captain is here can't work him for. And Germany. That is what their captain is. So that is and then Real Madrid depend number 2. Say in commodity and sound. Say bibi timi sikura na say yenya Trent Alexander-Arnold na o movie out of Liverpool. Or also more outside England na. The future of Kopama might lie with Chelsea. But do you think Kopama better than Chelsea for 9 years? Edru maybe na so movie a him fan obeko. So there's a lot of diversity coming in and most of these guys are picking up ideas and they are picking up strategies to move outside the country and learn a lot and then come in. And I'm sure be about the Dutch national team and the quality they have and the kind of strikers they've had. I'm say Marco van Basten and Kasana Fancy Di Maria say e bakasa Kasana no problem. Owi e bob na say Kasana was ro. But ope player no nim na any bopa. Marco van Basten is your ideal number 9 you could have. No bibia. Entry, go share, ability to occupy space, none. In recent times, the ability for the Dutch national team to produce strikers is questionable. And now my Dutch national team ni diano. Yeah, is exit free man. Why never Brian Broby?
No, not Ten Hag has open.
Ten Hag na mu kra na ho da asem mu ono kra nya ma no so Mike de aka no o yemfa yi wine mayo
na ye be you
yemfa yi wine mayo
ye be you
yemfa baba ne mayo
afi na macra blade no
yemfa yi wine mayo yo
ala so tri won fu a meyi mema
and fast meyi me have Brian Broby or them. They need a goal. Then I ask myself a lot of questions. Is this where the national team has come in? And Ronald Koeman no Jinan change and I was like, Debbie. And Michelle, how they were lacking the cutting edge. Tijani Randa is anymore. Not done not probably to. I think that this time around they should go back, look at Ajax, look at PSV, force them or help them, push them to produce a top striker for them. Because Zexi is not your number 9. I will say this again. It's not your number 9 because I'm not saying Zexi as
yes.
Two different things.
Yeah.
Zexi is not your typical ideal Dutch number 9. So I'll be here almost on Sabbath me account man as over to my home. What am I say? But he's your they use the word 9.5. On your people no timibo. And me home Dean and I feel like they need to start producing as soon as possible. I think the Dutch academy producing top talents from Robin van Persie pass the last striker had your choir will walk up pa nese waba then the Brian Broby. And unless Sergio Somu Yusu Gapo as the number 9, Then you look at Dennis Undav for Germany, Enra. You see, this is a player that have gone through Brighton and Hove Albion. I know that PMO Stuttgart. Now he has become a striker. Germany will have to rely on him most of the time due to what can have it the moment because can have it to Sonia number 9. But it looks like an interesting story to have a player. I don't know, moving from Brighton and Hove Albion to the Germany Bundesliga. He's not playing for Dortmund. He's not playing for Mönchengladbach. He's not playing for Leverkusen. He's not playing for Bayern Munich as the number 9, but he's playing for Stuttgart. And under the sole responsibility has come on his shoulders. And the quality now I'm share or they try, it means that Germany has a lot of options in the box to pick out from. And I'm so happy for him because he's going to become a top. And you're about Victor Gyökeres Mudi. Say number 9 and Kasapa number 9 5 4 years so muni bobo Hamudi. Or the wafu and the bu Bobo Hamudi say. You can say you top 9 strikers we are here. What if Dennis Undav Tunche, you rank here and number 9 Cromwell popular. I'm talking about out and out number 9 I'll be no more.
Yeah.
Obeka Vito Simen, Victor Gyökeres. Odu wani bu abe Boniface kakra due to adia oye wo Leverkusen, Hurricane, Robert Lewandowski. Where you know other me patrol, Mr. No me can tell me say me the Lewandowski ni Hurricane akoto achiri.
Yeah.
Where you know order. We said the amabubo nyina no open and number 9 why ding. Football has evolved to a certain extent and now we are so much enthused about who links up, who becomes a 9.5. But a typical old-fashioned number 9 strikers, Barcelona should be very vigilant and attentive to whatever that is happening around Erling Haaland. And they should snap up because the face of those number 9s now and it is fading out. I say number 10. Say number 10 tete what the BBMO. Say the near city who Pablo Aimamo, Roberto Baggio mo. Sometime they came up proper trequartista fantatista, Rui Costa, Kaka. This guy, Yanibi was system nimbium. Now football has tended to become more 4-3-3. It's about roles now. Not about typical positions where it brought out the qualities of a player named so number 10. First, you say Kwasi Ansha 10. Who's a player at 10? No, Dina 10 out of his own bopa.
Yeah.
So that one has faded out. Our wingers is still intact due to how our formation is still like that. So insisted say we have to have wingers touching the line, which is the 4-3-3. Now no crane drum rebuka 4-2-3-1 ne be because 4-2-3-1 no or wingers no nye wingers directly or we attacking wingers and also more drift back a mu kakra Mike Beka just a wing forwards. They will cut in most of the time. They are forwards on bem. By certificate it what donadonimu. Ah, obenya wenga no original touchline no what over fall line no waso no dreamy kana de chire bi no edin. How Cristiano Ronaldo started Ryan Giggs. These guys. Sean Wright Phillips. So okay. Into omunya on 10 one so a Gabriel Agbala ho. Oni asilong nyawa na carry ugina ni mu a ye ball cross no ni ti apempanyan. Eno no ebi da so ho due to 4-3-3 net and cry yesa movie obokra the wing backs. It is the old-fashioned number 9 is free system. Ye pa. And the Lewandowski came free system ni more. MSN 9.5 one kwan e back for mo about teams in him. 9.5 one kwan. And it is a huge issue. Enye bia. Kagana cry striker cry nim the obo 9. Blackstars cry nim the obo 9. Ye nim the osefata 9 because nipa ne bo obo free rings no akati no aba be shuti di aba be ko. If Germany is looking forward and looking at these kind of profiles and players for them, because after Miroslav Klose, they've also found it difficult to have a typical number 9, and they used to use Thomas Müller in a number 9 position. But I feel said this is the time they've gotten a player in Undav that could also come in and help. Once a players they be to free international games in the movie. Say no crown will be crab about 30 minutes and watch that on the 9. And one here Salai or Bob Bonus and ID no atenase. There are a lot of players who are finding out issues or finding excuses to rule out. I don't know if this can send a signal to FIFA, but they are not seeing it. I'm sure November international break, no more grow one player, my top player. John with the local players and the boss, John with the local players and the boss, and it will be interesting to watch out for what will happen between Spain and Denmark. And Chebia na only Ghana social Denmark for no once and komokope or say there be. I'm looking at how De La Fuente's team will cope without Rodri, Esibako, or the Euros. But the survival quest in terms of missing Rodri and Dani Carvajal, I want to see how he fits into that. He has become so successful with the Euros around the Spanish national team, which say many Diamano waiting Kodana one more opportunity within the team. But there's a certain standard where he needs to meet or he needs to carry on. And that standard stands for this place. And everyone will be looking forward towards that. I think Denmark gives them a huge competition tonight to assess. Because whom are now on any PMA Hoiberg regional Finfino or Munyam Kodaketwa. And in the absence of that, I want to see how Fabian Ruiz, Zubimendi, most of these guys are going to pick up. Then you look at the right back now. Spain after Carvajal, I'm asking myself who comes in as their best right back. As almost so who actually more that particular position. This is Lucas Vasquez, money the umbo two no, and now more corner Makoishi Moana and Korani Bioma for two niba kono ababijinem the amabo momo. And this is what I'm looking forward to. Say Ombetima in conform baby replace yomo. Then there's going to be Poland and there's going to be Portugal. That is one game I'm many better. The reason why I'm a need Tahopa is say, I'm a firm believer that sports. Portugal was so much closer to winning an international trophy again with Fernando Santos until there was a certain level of confusion between the players and the coach. At the World Cup, they had a perfect squad to deliver and do something. But unfortunately, in Tokwa, Weber getting the needed balance for this, because if you mention their players' names, these are world-class players. Because João Palhinha, or João Neves, now Ruby Neves or Mumiensa et Statia, also another set of players or Musubit Mabema Stati, even Danilo Pereira. I don't know what the Saudi League, or only Timibo as a number 6. Not to even talk about Bernardo Silva, who could also drift into the midfield. So, position be almost our Vitinha. Then there is Bruno Fernandes. Even in their midfield, two solid 3 central midfielders. I will say you are more different nations on started. Not to even talk about Diego Jota. Cristiano Ronaldo also retired. And from time with team. And me, I don't begrudge him when it comes to the national team. There are some players be on at the club side, we can say whatever we want to say about them, especially when they are playing in Saudi or whatever they are playing. But when it comes to the national team, it is very difficult to rule them out. Edu maybe not London Donovan. Oh, she said the US national team, they'll call him. Because when it comes to the national team, he gives you a certain level of goals. Be a Olivier Giroud. No, be any said a real day. Abba. But so the Olivier Giroud Sabesha national team normal day.
Quality.
Or quality. As a moja no club, it we no club. Well, club or crano bossy. But Afcon drew na some moja to bench crano yada crana than the bob day. So these are the pedigrees. Me, if Ronaldo is even going to retire, I expect that the Portugal national team will be the last place Ronaldo will retire. Yes. I expect Cristiano Ronaldo said the Portuguese national team will be the last timer or they will retire. So you look at the quality they have and they are coming up against Poland. I believe said they also need to set an example and make sure someone sabit Macari results. Benny McCarthy same now all canon. Over Manchester once I need Indiana.
Also on your hobby.
There be an real Jumano once I need NDA. You know, he's opening up another phase of the problem of Manchester United. It raises a lot of questions more than answers. Wouldn't be there. I shall say, what they can interview Biaman about one thing. Obeka say, Ophili say, Eric Ten Hag, any the passion and the charisma. Other coaches one. Or did you say no problem with Tia? Resource in Shadam Massad your movie some open.
Yeah.
But tactically, no one say Eric Ten Hag is very good. Then, what's up another interview? In this interview, you tell us, say, on the training grounds, players in the training no more and your man no more and fancy di Maria. I hate to say we are so much be on bet my day. I say ni pakro. But when you bedroom park and so munim the SC. Na be dane. Which means on one part, you think Eric Ten Hag doesn't have passion and charisma. On the other part, you think the players are a problem. And this is where it gives me a lot of questions about what is happening within Manchester United. And where you'll be at mention that because he was closer to the first team. Baby, a first team ni Bekobia no day. Oh, he's a former player. Ten Hag Nankasa a far phone friend. And what's up born Nankasa was Bobida. So he knows how players feels, he knows how players react, he knows everything that goes on. Then it's making me convinced as to the reason why Ineos are reluctant to sack Eric Ten Hag as soon as possible. Because Ineos, the technical director in Jason Walkers, and then short, Omuna de Biomuni team no training grounds. What am I say? They will look at what happens on the training grounds. They will look at the routines. They will look at the kind of, because Eric Ten Hag by 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. No, sorry. So if it is so, then Jason Walkers and then short will always go and report to Braceford Mo. And no matter that was there be. So imagine Benny McCarthy as someone working. That is the same thing now. Even Dana Short and Jesse Walkers Becker in detail. If you say Ineos better take action and I won't take it.
Some passports.
Manchester problem is Duabwabem, Sebi. Because Entiasianim. Team let me say Fena Mati David here.
Say Ferguson first season Caribbean come up Pamonti.
Now where in the third season, Eric Ten Hag third season.
Or say easy from the outside. But we very simple so Monty as say can work in progress. But as Nana Ateta Edgemano.
Ateta Nedru Ateta
Nyeri Ten Hag get trophies. But Muno Muka Ten Hag Moja. Benny McCarthy neka
mama potato answer.
Benny McCarthy neka
menyame. Adenti na mama potato answer.
Potato no onya de. Ten Hag ya de.
Yate.
Some passports.
Mike.
Vas-y. Oh, mais wa paswa